Hi, my name is Chelsea Hillard, and I am the K-6 music teacher at Mount Airy School in Cincinnati Public Schools. I started this series for my students, but wanted to share it with the rest of Cincinnati Public Schools, and it is a series on interviewing people who have gone into careers in the arts and how Cincinnati Public Schools helped them pave the way for that career. So today we're going to be talking to David, who is an arranger and a composer and a musician who lives in Los Angeles, California. Okay, thank you, David. Thanks for joining us for this interview. Let's start just by kind of telling me where you're at, where you're living, what you're doing.
All right, yeah, thanks for having me. So currently I'm a full-time musician and a composer, and I currently live and work in Los Angeles, writing, arranging, orchestrating, mixing, mastering, and performing and recording music for artist bands and film and television. Some recent projects that I've got to work on was the most recent superhero movie, Shazam, It Chapter 2, 21 Bridges, the upcoming Kingsman movie in the fall, the new Netflix film that just came out this past week, April 24th, Extraction, as well as an Emmy-nominated National Geographic documentary series, Hostile Planet, among other independent short films and features and all that.
That is awesome. And I've totally seen almost all of the things you mentioned. So now I want to go rewatch them and listen for
Awesome.
you. Okay, well, that's awesome. So when you graduated from Cincinnati, you're originally from Cincinnati or lived there. I don't know if you were born and raised there, but which Cincinnati Public Schools did you end up attending?
So I went to SCPA, School for Creative and Performing Arts, only for high school from 2009 to 2013.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you were in a different school district and then you transferred over to go there for high school?
Yeah, I'm originally from Wyoming, suburb, I guess, of Cincinnati. And so I went there for elementary and middle school. And I decided I'd always known since I was 4 years old that I wanted to do music as my life, and not just as a career. And then I saw that I could go to this school and study music. And so it all happened within 2 weeks. We got the application, we got the recommendations, we got my report cards, and then signed up for the audition, and then auditioned, and then a week later I got a call at 6 a.m. from Dr. Rudnick saying, "Hey, you're in." So I was like, cool.
That's awesome. And when you went to SCPA, what were your talents? What were your majors?
Yeah, so I was an instrumental music major. I majored, I don't know, it's weird. So I play guitar, that's my main instrument. And so I was a guitar major, but guitarists don't really have a dedicated, orchestra or choir. So I was just in the jazz group.
Okay, so when you graduated from SCPA, did you immediately move to LA, get started in your career? Did you end up going to college? How did this all happen for you?
Yeah. So during my senior year of high school, I decided I was going to go to college. And so I applied a bunch of places, and I ultimately ended up choosing to attend the Indiana University Jacob School of Music after I graduated in 2017. And then after that, I went straight to grad school at the Pacific Northwest Film Scoring Program in Seattle. And then that was a 10-month, really intense master's degree. And then right after that, I moved to LA. So I've been here in LA since September of 2018. And I definitely recommend it. I definitely recommend going to school. It has taught me such an incredible amount of information. I had amazing teachers, mentors, and while it's possible to never go to school and still be very successful, I feel that schooling is the best way to really learn and hone your craft and learn more about yourself, and giving yourself the time to also grow up and mature, because you grow up a lot from 18 to 25, and that's just something you don't learn in school. And all my professional goals all dealt with having a sustained and prolonged career rather than just making a couple one-off hits and then never really doing music again or never being heard of, which is sadly what happens a lot with a lot of pop artists today. Think about who was your favorite artist 5 years ago, and think about are they still making music today? So everything I learned at school has helped me become the person and the musician that I am today. Just learning basic stuff like budgeting and how to network properly, where there's no real right way, but just a recommended way. And all the way to like advanced concepts and techniques of writing music has helped shape who I am and will forever be and will forever help me be successful.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Just the even just the mentorship, like you said, like the budgeting, just the adulting type stuff, having mentors in your corner instead of hustling to figure it all out on your own is probably so beneficial because you picked a career path that can be very like roller coaster, you know. It's not something, it's not like teaching for me. I have
Currently on the
salary
downhill.
schedule, right? Like I know exactly how much I'll make each year. If I want to make more, I get more education. You know, yours is very like it can be hit or miss. So was that ever something that scared you or is that exciting to you?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
I am constantly terrified every day, but I'm also constantly excited because like ultimately my future is up to me. My livelihood is up to me. The way I want to live is all up to me. And so it's like, you know, I can either work really hard and get this really sweet gig, or I can like play Xbox and like not further advance my career. And it's like, I'd rather better myself now and work hard for myself now so that in the future I'll get paid, you know, hopefully more than I am now. But it is constantly terrifying not knowing when your next paycheck's going to come. It's pretty scary not knowing, you know, that I don't have like health benefits or like a 401k from a company that I work for. And it's especially weird and I guess ostracizing since like my whole family is non-musicians. They're all in the science field. So like my sister's an engineer, my brother's an engineer, my older brother's an engineer. Like, you know, my brother's a day trader with stocks. And so like they all have amazing jobs and amazingly like well-paid, you know, jobs. And I'm over here like, you know, I just did a gig for free because it's like, I'm not getting any money for that. You know, I made a, you know, did a gig for like $30. And, you know, there's other ones that pay really nicely that are like good. And those are always nice to have, but just constantly being on my feet, constantly having to like just tiptoe around like life. It just like makes you live more, I feel, rather than just exist behind something that you're working. You know, every day I got to get up, I got to email, I got to network, I got to go out, you know, I got to go out and meet people. Obviously not right now because of the quarantine, but like, yeah, you know, you just got to put yourself out there. And I'm a strong believer in that. The more energy you put out into the world, like that will all be repaid back at some point. You know, life finds a way, like in Jurassic Park. But like, you know, just put good out and you'll get good back.
I love that. And I love the idea of choose, you know, you said you can choose between playing Xbox or like bettering yourself. And I feel like that is a good rule of thumb for literally anybody in life, no matter what path they choose. Like, obviously, yes, have fun, do fun stuff, but you know, whatever you place value in is where you're going to grow. So that's really cool. I'm curious, what would you say is the biggest difference between Ohio and LA? What's the main one?
Oh, wow. Um, okay. Stereotypical answer, weather. Um,
Yeah.
it's 80 degrees and sunny 10 months out of the year here, and it rains like 15 times. We don't get thunderstorms. We don't get tornadoes, hurricanes. It does get cold at night, which is nice. But then it gets scorching hot in the summer. The other thing I would say politically is that I feel it's more open-minded out here. People are more accepting. People are more open to many different walks of life, many different cultures. You know, in Ohio, when I was working and I was a gigging musician, and I would talk to anyone that wasn't in music, they'd be like, "Oh, so what do you do for a living?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a touring musician. You know, I'm a creative. I write my own music." And they're like, "Oh, okay. So like, but what do you actually do?" And like out here, people are like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a musician." And they're like, "Oh, sweet. I'm an actor. I'm an actress. You know, I'm this or that or whatever." And like everyone out here understands the culture. They understand the climate. They understand that like this is our livelihood and who we are as people, and that it's just something that we can't not do. You know,
Yeah.
we can't just idly sit by and not do our dreams. Also, it's easier to be vegetarian and vegan out here because there's so many more clean options for food. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. That's awesome. Okay. Okay, so you've kind of touched on this, but how do you feel that your experiences in Cincinnati Public at SCPA kind of helped shape you for the career that you're in now? Do you feel like it prepared you pretty well?
Uh, yeah, it was a good first step. Good first couple steps, I'd say. So I study music. And besides being pushed incredibly hard, my teacher, Mr. Stuckey, also showed me how to hold myself and everyone that he taught as a mature young adult in this crazy world that we live in. And I feel that Mr. Stuckey also taught me so much more about life and the way to live rather than just music. But like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like he still taught all of us and me an incredible amount of musical information. But it was more about like how you live with yourself, what your daily routine is, what your mindset is, like going into every day and like your projects and your work and your group and your band and all that. And not just him too, like there was other amazing teachers, like my English teacher, Ms. Morgan, chemistry, Mr. Norman. Like it also helps that I have like a really strong emotional connection with those subjects, but like those teachers also just pushed us to be like our very best, and they encouraged us to fail as many times as we possibly could so that we learn on our own and from our own mistakes. And they just like quietly just held our hand and like, watched us just keep jumping into the deep end without being able to swim. And then eventually we finally like, oh, okay, you got to move your hand like this and you got to move your foot like that. And it was just like like we were saying, it's just so open-minded. It's just so accepting. It's so just like, I don't know, amazing that like we got to have this opportunity of people that just allowed us without judgment to fail and fail again.
Yeah, and people who allowed us to value the arts as like the top priority versus
Totally.
we expect you to, be the best mathematician in the world and then you can sing on the side. But we were really,
right.
Even our regular subjects were encouraging us and showing up to stuff. So yeah, it was really unique experience for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so here's the big one. If you had one piece of advice for a current CPS, SCPA student, anyone who wants to go into like the arts as a career as you have, what would be your piece of advice?
Okay, so it's one sentence.
Okay.
Be nice, be yourself, start networking now, meditate every day, stay as humble as you can, budget, and be very organized. Be nice because no one in this world wants to work with someone that they don't like or can't stand to be around. Be yourself because ultimately no one is better at being you than you. And remember that as an artist and as a creative person, not just as a musician, but any creative field, your own expression and your own way of life and your emotions are your own superpowers. Start networking now because especially in the music industry, but any industry, it's all about who you know, how you know them, and how and why they know you. So start meeting everyone you possibly can because you never know who knows who. A couple months ago, I was at a networking event and I was talking to a woman, and turns out that her boyfriend's sister was Kevin Hart's manager. And it's just like degrees of separation are just, one away from everyone. Meditate because I know a lot of people don't talk about it, especially in the school system, but because no matter what, your mental health is single-handedly the most important thing you have. Keep your mindset and your mental health always in check. This will forever help you be yourself and navigate the world in these incredibly stressful times. It'll also help you work harder and be more focused. Stay humble. Be thankful for every opportunity comes your way. Make sure to share your work and your accomplishments with the people around you. Build a network of like-minded creatives and just help each other grow. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. It's a good song. And then lastly, just professional things like budget so that you know what you can spend your money on and gain a strong foundation of what truly is a want and a need. Do I want this or do I need this to better my career? And just be organized. A cluttered mind is a cluttered, work. A clean and organized mind will operate at the highest of levels. If that means like writing a calendar or using Post-it notes or like writing on your hand, who knows? Whatever it may be, find what works best for you and just strive to be happy every day.
Yay! Those are really good tips. And you really have done a good job at a lot of those things. The one that stuck out the most to me was the being humble. I mean, you started this whole interview with all these crazy accolades and projects you've worked on that are buzzwords. People will know those movies and sets you've been on. But yet you also mentioned like you do a gig for free, like to network and to get out there. So that's proves how humble you are because at this point, I'm sure
I
other
try.
people could turn it down. So that's awesome. You have done a fabulous job. I want to thank you again so much for taking the time to interview with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having this and helping me and organizing this. And yeah, it's
Uh,
just awesome.
I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I hope that it was helpful and inspiring, and have a great day wherever you are.